Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that the cost of your iPhone, Apple Watch, or iPad has suddenly gone up. Might sound like a nightmare, but it's a reality that could soon unfold for millions of consumers, especially in the United States. Starting February 1st, Apple, along with many other tech companies, could be forced to raise their prices, affecting their most popular devices. But what exactly is behind this potential price increase? Let's break it down. The reason for the upcoming price hikes is tied to a significant shift in U.S. trade policy. President Donald Trump is expected to announce the imposition of tariffs on imports from countries like Canada, Mexico, and China. A tariff is essentially a tax that gets placed on products entering the U.S. While the exporting countries don't pay for these taxes, the companies bringing those products into the country do. They can either absorb the extra cost, which would hurt their profits, or they can raise the prices of their products. In Apple's case, it seems they'll likely choose to raise prices, passing the extra burden onto consumers. So what does this mean for you? If Apple raises its prices because of these tariffs, U.S. customers are going to feel it. The next iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch could all cost more. And Apple isn't the only company affected. Other tech giants who rely on imports from China, Mexico, and Canada are in the same boat. But let's focus on Apple for a moment, since it's one of the biggest companies at risk of these price hikes. The tariffs are set to take effect on February 1st, but at this time there's no clear answer on whether some products or companies might be exempt. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt stated that more details would be shared tomorrow, and these tariffs are part of fulfilling promises made by President Trump to protect American interests. Now, it's important to note that the countries facing these tariffs, like China, Canada, and Mexico, aren't the ones paying for them directly. Instead, the cost gets shifted to U.S. consumers. So while the countries themselves might face economic pressure from these tariffs, it's the American buyer who will be paying higher prices for products imported from these countries. The impact on the tech industry could be massive. Apple and other companies that depend on overseas manufacturing, especially in China, could find themselves facing a dilemma. If U.S. consumers decide they're not willing to pay the increased prices on products from China, Mexico, or Canada, they might look for alternatives that don't carry the additional cost. This could potentially lead to changes in buying patterns, putting more pressure on manufacturers in those countries, while companies that aren't affected by the tariffs could see an uptick in sales. Apple, in particular, has avoided tariffs in the past. During Trump's first term, CEO Tim Cook managed to convince the president that imposing tariffs on iPhones would harm Apple, an American company, by making its products more expensive and less competitive against rivals like Samsung, which produces phones in South Korea. Thanks to Cook's lobbying, Apple was spared from additional tariffs. But this time, it might be different. Even though Tim Cook has met with Trump several times since the 2024 election and personally contributed $1 million for Trump's inauguration, it's unclear whether Apple will be shielded from the new tariffs. There's a possibility that Trump won't be as lenient this time, especially since the new tariffs are part of a broader effort to combat the illegal drug trade, particularly the distribution of fentanyl. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on the latest Samsung news. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates as this story unfolds. Spending hundreds of dollars on the latest iPhone, expecting a cutting-edge experience, only to find out that its biggest feature is not even ready. Sounds frustrating, right? That is exactly what is happening with the iPhone 16. Apple introduced its grand vision for artificial intelligence with Apple Intelligence, promising to change the way users interact with their devices. But there is a catch. It is not available yet. And based on the latest statement from Apple Chief Executive Officer Tim Cook, it looks like the wait will be even longer than expected. The major highlight of Apple Intelligence is the smarter version of Siri. Apple has been working on making Siri more intuitive, allowing it to handle tasks across different apps seamlessly. Instead of just responding to queries, this new version of Siri is designed to take full control of the device, helping users with their daily tasks in a natural and efficient way. However, the issue is that it is still not here. During a recent announcement, Tim Cook stated that the improved Siri will be available in the next several months. Initially, Apple Intelligence was supposed to launch alongside iOS 18.4 in April, but now it is clear that things are getting delayed. Some reports from Apple insiders even suggest that Apple Intelligence may not be fully ready until 2026, which is a major setback for those who expected to experience these artificial intelligence features right away. This delay is a big disappointment, especially for users who bought the iPhone 16 with the expectation of enjoying artificial intelligence-powered capabilities from day one. The device was heavily marketed around two key upgrades: the advanced artificial intelligence features and the new camera control button. Now, with one of its biggest selling points being postponed indefinitely, many users are left wondering whether upgrading to the iPhone 16 was the right decision. To make things worse, Apple Intelligence will not be available in all regions, and users in the European Union will have even more restrictions due to regulatory policies. This situation brings up an important question. Is it better to upgrade now, or should users wait for the iPhone 17? If Apple Intelligence will not be fully functional until 2026, then iPhone 16 users will only get a limited version of these features, while future models will likely have the complete experience. This delay might make the iPhone 16 feel more like a test version rather than a significant upgrade, which could impact its appeal among consumers. Despite these setbacks, Apple Chief Executive Officer Tim Cook remains optimistic about Apple Intelligence. During the company's earnings call, he described the upcoming artificial intelligence tools as features that users cannot live without once they have tried them. This statement sets high expectations but also raises concerns. If Apple Intelligence ends up being just another minor software improvement rather than a game-changing feature, users may feel disappointed. Apple has built a reputation for delivering polished and innovative products, so any failure to meet expectations could harm its credibility in the artificial intelligence space. Meanwhile, Apple is not the only company trying to dominate artificial intelligence in smartphones. Samsung also focused heavily on artificial intelligence when introducing the Galaxy S25 series during its Galaxy Unpacked event. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tech updates. Did you purchase the iPhone 16 with high hopes for Apple Intelligence to transform your smartphone experience? If so, you may be feeling somewhat underwhelmed. Despite all the hype and promises, the advanced artificial intelligence features that were touted as one of the device's biggest selling points are nowhere near ready, and according to recent updates, they may not arrive as soon as expected. Apple CEO Tim Cook recently confirmed that the much-anticipated updates to Siri, one of the core components of Apple Intelligence, won't be available for a few more months. This announcement has left many iPhone 16 users frustrated, especially those who were expecting the new AI features to be a highlight right out of the box. At the moment, Apple Intelligence mainly offers basic functionalities like writing assistants, emoji generation, and notification summaries. While these features are useful, they're far from the revolutionary AI experience that Apple promised. One of the biggest letdowns is the delay of the new and improved Siri, which was supposed to launch alongside iOS 18.4. But now it seems the feature won't be available until as late as 2026. For many iPhone 16 buyers, this means waiting years to experience the AI tools that were one of the phone's key selling points. It raises the question, was the iPhone 16 really worth purchasing, given that so many of its flagship features are missing? Adding to the frustration is the fact that Apple Intelligence isn't even available everywhere. Users in the European Union, for instance, are receiving a different version of the iPhone 16 due to local regulations. This means that even when the AI features are finally released, users won't all have access to the same experience. It's a major issue for customers who are hoping for a consistent product, regardless of where they live. Despite these setbacks, Tim Cook remains confident in Apple Intelligence, calling the forthcoming AI tools life-changing. But is that really the case? At the moment, AI isn't considered a must-have feature for most consumers, and Apple will need to do a lot more to prove its value. For now, AI in smartphones is mostly limited to small conveniences, like generating text or enhancing camera shots. If Apple is serious about revolutionizing the smartphone experience, it will need to offer something that goes beyond these basic improvements. Meanwhile, Apple faces fierce competition from companies like Samsung. The recently released Galaxy S25 series highlights AI as a major feature, but Samsung's AI tools feel like little more than slight improvements over what's already available. If Apple is truly delaying its AI features to perfect them, it will need to offer something far more impressive than what competitors are providing. The smartphone industry is clearly shifting towards AI, but the technology is still in its infancy. Right now, it's mostly being used for minor enhancements rather than groundbreaking innovations. If Apple wants to make a lasting impact, it will need to go beyond the basics and offer AI tools that actually change how we use our phones. The promise of an upgraded Siri that can interact with apps and perform tasks within them was a major selling point of the iPhone 16. But with further delays, it's unclear when or if this will ever come to fruition. So, what does this all mean for iPhone 16 users? If you bought the phone for its AI capabilities, you're probably feeling frustrated by the delays. Share your thoughts in the comments and be sure to like and subscribe for more updates.